Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 10 Express. My name is Jacob Joyberry, and today I'm joined by Jarrod Friday.
Hey Jacob, how you doing?
I'm excellent, thank you. Today we are broadcasting live from the brand new media hub at Trobe University's Bundoora campus. Now, Jarrod, we've got a pretty chock-full show today.
We've got a pretty big show, Jacob.
Yeah.
Today we're tackling, our recurring segments of Where Are They Now and Do You Even Sport? And we're also having a look at On This Day, and we've got a bit of news and sport. I'll get you to throw that in.
Sounds like it's going to be an awesome time. Well, let's get straight into it.
Let's do it.
At least 10 people are dead and more than 1,500 homes and businesses have been leveled in Californian winds have whipped countless wildfires across California wine country. The Northern California country of Sonoma have received more than 100 missing persons reports from friends and family unable to contact loved ones amongst the blaze. A Richmond Premiership player is at the centre of a revenge porn scandal after images of a topless woman wearing a Premiership medallion are being circulated online without her consent. The photo does not identify the woman and the player in question has not been identified. A cardiac nurse, Linda Hansen, has been killed in the result of a car accident located in Melbourne last night. Linda was tragically killed when a driver of a stolen vehicle collided with hers. Linda's family has thanked the people who came to the 53-year-old's aid when the opposing driver fled from the scene. Police are still searching for the suspect. A court in Fukushima has found that Tokyo Electric Power and the Japanese government were liable for damages in the 2011 Fukushima nuclear meltdown. Close to 3,800 plaintiffs were filed in the Fukushima Direct Court seeking damage expenses from the Japanese government and the Tokyo Power Company. Irish President gives warning in speech while addressing the Western Australia Parliament. In the first address to WA Parliament by a foreign head of state, Irish President Michael Higgins has warned against satisfaction and complacency in dealing with ongoing issues like racism, climate change and wealth inequality. Mr Higgins credited WA for its independence of thought as well as innovation and experimentation, but warned sitting members to be proactive with these ever-changing conditions. Jarrod, why don't you tell me a bit about sport today?
Yeah, throwing into sport, in AFL news, Tom Rockcliffe has had his move from the Brisbane Lions to Port Adelaide confirmed, with the Power offering Rockcliffe a 4-year deal with $650,000 per season. Rockcliffe will aid the Power's quest for more grunt and leadership in midfield, with Rockcliffe's ability to win the inside ball well known. Brisbane will now have picks 18 and 19 to use in the AFL draft as well. In soccer news, Australia is through to the last round of the World Cup, qualifying after a 2-1 win in extra time against Syria last night. Tom Cahill scored his 50th international goal for Australia as the Socceroos were forced to toil away against a resilient Syrian side. Australia will now play against either the United States, Panama or Honduras next month. In the tennis world, Kyrgios has quit his first round match at the Shanghai Masters in an apparent protest against the umpiring. The 22-year-old had received 2 code violations for unsportsmanlike conduct and expressed his concern at the chair umpire for covering a point penalty during the tiebreaker. He was reportedly heard on TV telling his courtside entourage he would quit if he lost a set, which he did.
Wow.
In cricket, Australia has won the second 2020 international against India by 8 wickets. Moises Henriques top scored, making 62 not out. The series is now locked at 1-1, and the deciding game will be played on Friday night. In weather, it is a top of 24 and getting lower than 9.
It's not a bad day.
Yeah, not a bad day at all.
Not a bad day at all. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
So-
nice sunshine.
It's going to be amazing, actually. It was a bit cloudy at the moment, I see, looking at the Agora. So speaking of this day,
Yeah.
did you know what happened on this day? I think you might.
Yeah, Jesus Christ Superstar opened up in New York City in 1971.
That would be the musical, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be the musical. And for people who know, I'm very big on musical numbers.
Well, we weren't just singing musical numbers before we went live, were we?
No, not at all.
No, we weren't.
But I love this show. This show is amazing. It's classified as a rock opera.
Okay.
Yeah, which is pretty intense when you think about it.
Yeah.
And there's no spoken words throughout the whole show.
Okay.
Everything is sung.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty, I've done this show, and I've been backstage for it, and it's pretty intense. It's some intense work.
Damn.
But yeah, when they first opened up in New York City, they had 711 performances.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it ran for quite some time, and once again, it debuted in 1971, but it's been performed up until up until now.
It's like nearly 40 years.
Yeah,
That must be a really good show then.
So, a theatre company in Melbourne called Clock just recently did it last year, and Clock is very famous for their amateur theatre and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they did Les Mis, and they're about to do Chorus Line. And they're very big in Melbourne. They're a very a large company, and yeah, they did Jesus Christ Superstar end of last year, end of 2016, and they got a lot of rad feedback for it. And the story of the show is basically loosely based on the Gospels account of Jesus's last week.
Okay.
And they tackle the crucifixion and stuff like that. And when the Broadway show came out, it got condemned by a lot of religious groups.
I can imagine it would have been, definitely.
Because they all thought that you weren't allowed to retell Jesus' story.
Yeah.
But they did it.
And
They
it's
did
been
it for
really
711 performances.
Yeah, and it's been very successful. So I guess the condemning didn't really work out, did it?
They may have been condemned, but I think a lot of people went and saw it anyway.
Yeah, maybe the controversy sparked more interest. Really.
Yeah,
that happens
exactly.
sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's still ongoing. And it opened up a new branch to what rock opera was and everything like that, and it's really established what a rock musical could be. And then we've had investments the School of Rock that came out as a musical and stuff like that, and that was all a result of Jesus Christ Superstar setting that up.
That's cool. That's really cool, man.
It was really it's a really rad show. And then they did a film adaptation 2 years after it debuted on Broadway.
How'd the movie go? Did it go well? Do you know?
It, not as well as the musical.
Yeah, well, we can't get better than live performances.
Yeah.
We really can't.
And you can drive a hefty price for a live performance nowadays.
True, like Hamilton. Those are
Hamilton, or even the shows that we have here now are Book of Mormon and Aladdin. And if you don't want a restricted view ticket, but you want something that's full fledged, I think you can fork out easily up to $200, $300 for a premium ticket.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is expensive.
It's ridiculous, but it's so worth going to see.
I can imagine.
So worth going to see.
This is the 10 Express. The time is 10:08 in the morning. We broadcast every Wednesday from 10 a.m. live from the brand new media hub at La Trobe's Bundoora campus. You can catch up on every episode at upstart.net.au or follow us on Facebook and Twitter at the 10 Express. That's the 10 Express with a 1 and a 0.
We're now moving on to one of our feature stories, which is about La Trobe University's Rabelais magazine.
Yes, it founded in 1967 and has been a definitive news source for students on campus at a very own La Trobe University. It's run by students for students, and the paper has a notorious record for casting a critical eye over university and student union decisions, shining a light on issues of importance to those who study at La Trobe. Now in its 50th year, our reporter Naim Kurt speaks with Rabelais' editor for 2017, Kevin Kapeke, to discuss with him history of Rabelais, and what the future holds for this famous student magazine.
Hey, this is Kevin from Rabelais. I hope you're doing well today. I'm just calling regarding the email you sent regarding advertising in the Rabelais. Please get back to me. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye-bye. We need cash. Hey, my name's Kevin. I'm in third year of my Bachelor of Politics, Philosophy and Economics, and I'm the editor of Rabelais. So Rabelais is the student-produced university magazine done by students for students. So pretty much we just publish all articles by students submitted to us through social media and via email, and we have about 8 editions per year. The backbone of Rabelais is the LTSU, which is the La Trobe University Student Union. As it is run by students, we have 2 main editors, who is myself and Zach, who sits across the road over there. And then we have a subcommittee of students as well who volunteer their time. So the Rabelais is as old as the university itself, so 50 years, turned 50 in August. And the first edition was published in August 1967 by the first editor of Rabelais called Michel Lawrence. So he started this, he called it the Rabelais based on the name of a French philosopher who he really admired quite well. So it has a very rich history. It's been around through the Vietnam War, and Trobe was a very new university then. And this was a university that was offering alternative courses. It definitely wanted to turn ideas on its head as well. So the controversy was part of the backbone of La Trobe. Average day as a Rabelais editor, I believe, is much like any normal student, quite frankly. But coming into the office is ensuring that I go through what I'm working on at the moment. So I look at the website, ensure that all articles are up to date, divided work to all the sub-editors, and ensure that everyone is on task, go through all our InDesign files, and also make sure that we have, we're moving at a reasonable speed. Talk to printers, talk to advertisers, talk to the LTSU, talk to marketing, and just make sure everyone's on task. Guys, so we are having a look at our latest edition of the Rabelais. Woohoo! Came out pretty nice. 55 whole pages of articles. Received pretty well, a well-through edition. So now we have to look into working on our women's one. The challenges for Rabelais we've had this year, probably, I think we could always use a bigger team. We could always have more students know about the magazine, write more for the magazine. And I think people should really believe in their abilities to do the magazine or to be able to have their work in them. People often shy away from the idea of writing because I think they think they work. I think it used to be a newspaper. It used to mirror, the New York Times or the Horneshoy or, Farrago or any of the other university newspapers and even bigger newspapers out in the world. It's definitely no longer a news source. It's definitely more of a commercial. It's definitely more modern. It's grown with the time. Last year, I believe we had an article which talked about the hotties of La Trobe. So I think a couple of students did report to management and the Vice Chancellor that we have articles in the Rabelais talking about students who are hot on campus, what they study, what they do. So I think it's funny if you look at it from a perspective of in 1970, how they've reacted and how they did today. I completely understand, talking about objectifying students, girls and boys for that matter, is not something we do today. But again, being that it is the Rabelais, back then, that was not such a big thing. We'll be doing our women's edition, which is a magazine we work on every single year, the Rabelais, done by women for women. We're having our female sub-editors talk on the Women's Collective, collecting articles and celebrating the Day of the Girl, which will be in October. And I think this year, being that we had the issue with sexual harassment on campus, it's pretty big that we address such things in our magazine, both online and in print. So if you would like to get involved in the Rabelais, whether as a contributing writer or as part of the team, feel free to find us on Facebook at Rabelais Student Media or in the Student Union, which is on level 2 of the Agora, or even send us an email to ltsu_rabelais@latrobe.edu.au.
And now joining us in the studio is Kevin Kapeke, one of the editors for Rabelais magazine and a reporter named Kurt. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. How you all doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Doing
Happy
fantastic.
to have you.
Look, thank you so much for having us, guys. Kevin, as we touched upon in that story, Rabelais has a pretty interesting past. Not many students here would know that the Australian government at one point tried to ban Rabelais during the 1990s. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Yeah, of course. So back in the day, when Rabelais was much more controversial, they did have a bit of an issue with the Australian government. In the 90s, they wrote an article which I think the university, I know the university and the Australian government took as an ode to help students shoplift to get out of poverty. So the article was called "The Art of Shoplifting," and it ruffled some feathers. So there was an ongoing court case. Appeals lasted 4 years, and eventually was banned. But
Wow.
Gave Rabelais a bit of a legacy.
Yeah, definitely. It's a 4-year trial. It's crazy.
Yes.
So, sorry, you keep going.
No, I think eventually the court, the appeal didn't quite go through to the High Court because the editors were determined to get it all the way to the highest court in the country to make sure that everyone has a chance to read the article. So the article's still there, but it's just, banned from being published ever again.
That's all about
That's crazy.
freedom of the press, which is what we
of
promote
course.
here at the
Definitely.
journalism
As
department.
journalists, we must have everything.
Kevin,
proper
you've
and
got
good.
some magazines with you. What's been your favourite Rabelais magazine for this year?
My favourite one, I think the Rebel Q, which they've done quite a fair bit. It's the one that
Have a look. You keep talking.
iconic. Yeah, it's the one that
Okay.
was done by our queer collective and office of the LGBTQI plus and every other title we have to use. It's just pretty much, I think, was a very powerful metaphor. We had students submit all these articles, many of them quite anonymous, and it just, to me, cemented that, if you put it out there, people are happy to help out. It just was done in a very uniform fashion, genuinely liked every part of it, and I think it served its purpose. The front cover, very, very cool.
Who did come up with that front cover? Because there's a fantastic picture there of Donald Trump and Pauline Hanson as well.
Yeah, it has a lot. I think when Emil did it, who was our queer officer in the LTSU, he did it he drew many pictures and made them all into one. So I remember photocopying or the scanning of the picture. There was like 10 different pictures being put together like a puzzle kind of thing. Very, very cool. Yeah, spent a lot of time in this and kept consulting to make sure it didn't insult anyone, didn't offend anyone. So it was just done in such a way that made me proud to be the Rabelais editor then. And I hope it served its purpose.
Well, it looks amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
You got the Student Survival Guide with you. Could you give us a bit of an insight what's into it?
Yes,
we can
so
survive?
Student Survival Guide is pretty much what's used by every first year or even second or third years, depending how you focus on university, how you're going and things like that. It's always the first magazine we have of the year. It pretty much delves into things like, the best places to study, some basic information, University 101, sex on campus, assault on campus, public transport, things from Centrelink all the way to how to deal with stress. So it pretty much just covers everything you'd want to know about being at La Trobe. La Trobe, again, is different to being at Melbourne Uni. Trams aren't so accessible. We only have the one. Buses, they're quite cool, but it's a different mechanism to being in the city. So depending where you're from, I think it's a very helpful tool. And we did a pretty big one this year, which I also think served its purpose to many first years and second and third and fourth years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So before you're off, how about you give us a quick plug for Rabelais? Like, you got a website, like Twitter and stuff you want to talk about?
Yeah,
Sure.
so we do have our Facebook, which is Rabelais Student Media,
Yep.
and students are able to, submit articles there, inquire through there. Again, our website, email address, which is ltsu_Rabelais at latrobe.edu.au, is where students send all the articles and submit them as well. We also have our website, which is rabelais.com.au, and again, we put articles on there. We have our editions, the PDF versions on there, if you're unable to get a printed copy, and it's quite cool to read the work that students do. And, we have fans in the Vice Chancellor's office as well, so it's always very nice to know we have readership everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Kevin.
My pleasure. Thanks
been
for
good
having
having you.
me. Thank you.
Awesome.
That's Rabelais.
It's Rabelais. Amazing.
Yeah, Rabelais. We're now going to move on to a segment called Where Are They Now? And today we are looking at celebrity chefs, particularly Jamie Oliver, Curtis Stone, and the infamous Huey.
I love Huey. He's amazing.
So we're going to touch base on Huey. And basically he had his cooking show. You know a bit about that, don't you, Jacob?
I love it. I used to watch his cooking show all the time throughout my summer holidays and mid-holidays. It was just the best. And he always is like for example, Naim was saying earlier when we're talking that he never just does a little bit of salt. It's always a little bit of salt and then just lays it on and lays it on. It's always those like celebrity chefs who's got the amazing things.
Yeah.
That's so
And
funny.
he also featured in like those Bilo ads.
Yeah, by
Back in the day.
Oh, dude, I was like 5.
We have a small clip of Huey though, so check it out.
I'm a New Zealand Australian. A little bit interesting. Make good cheese. Just toss that around. Here I am. What a beautiful day. Queenstown.
And welcome back to the 10 Express, guys. As we said before, we're in a segment called Where Are They Now? We're touching on celebrity chefs. You just witnessed a bit of genius of Huey. And now we're going to pop on over to Curtis Stone and Jamie Oliver. Now, Jacob, do you know much about these people?
I know that Curtis is really tall, blonde, and handsome, and I know that Jamie Oliver just loves a little bit of olive oil and yogurt. That's about as experienced as I am. Actually, I do know that when Jamie first started being a celebrity chef, he was on The Naked Chef, and he was unsure about what the title meant, so he nearly knocked it back.
Yeah.
He was a bit concerned about the nudity part.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, so I did a bit of research in trying to find out who these guys were, and I've put together a bit of things. So, yeah, bit of things.
Tell me about these better things.
So Curtis Stone is actually an Australian celebrity chef, and he's like well known as the face of Coles. So you would have seen him. You would have seen him from like the ads and stuff.
That guy.
Yeah, he's like the face of Coles. And Jamie Oliver is a British celebrity chef who is now the face of Woolies. So because like Woolies took him on and he was like in there. So they're very like in competition with each other. But
Definitely.
I don't think they even know it.
Like, why would they care? They're just both cooks.
Yeah,
they're there to
care.
cook.
So things to know about Curtis Stone is that his wife is actually an actress called Lindsay Price.
Oh.
And she's very famous.
What does she act in?
I don't know. It said that she was very famous.
Oh, excellent.
And so I was like, cool, it's got a famous actress wife. That guy is doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
For a celebrity chef, he's not doing too bad. His dad with 2 kids.
It's cool.
Yeah, which is like, I was like, huh, what, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he learned to cook from his grandma and mum.
That's good.
Yeah.
Bit of like a family tradition handing down thing.
Yeah, it was like, it was something interesting though.
I wasn't taught how to cook by my grandma and mother.
He owns 2 restaurants
Yeah.
in Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills.
The classic 90210, isn't it?
Want to be.
Oh, God.
And another one in LA. And the
Okay.
2 restaurants are named after his 2 grandmas, Maud and Gwen.
That's nice.
Yeah, how cute is
That's
that?
adorable.
I was like,
Bit of
oh.
a family man.
He wants a Michelin star, which is like a top tier food award.
Mm.
And he wants to bring the Michelin Guide back to LA because no one has a Michelin star in LA.
Really?
Yeah,
Are they that rare?
No, well, no one has one anymore. Like it was like a
Wow.
thing that was very like big, and now that no one has one.
Hmm.
So yeah, and he was a celebrity apprentice, and he placed 4th, getting fired at the end of the season. So
Is that-
he was really good at business, but he's a bit better of a chef.
Is that the one with the Donald Trump when he was a TV guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but now we'll move on. We'll move on to Jamie Oliver because he's got some interesting facts and queries. He collects driftwood as a solid piece because it makes an ideal chopping board.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, you can't get better than a piece of driftwood.
That's pretty interesting.
And although he frequently shares his kids on family and social media, his kids aren't allowed to have social media or cell phones.
Why would
Cut
that
off.
be? Do you
Cut
think?
off.
That's a bit strange.
I think it might be something to do with like his livelihood. You know, like even with like his chef, everything is like very like when he's chefing, everything is very stripped back, and like he only uses like raw or like essential ingredients. He doesn't like.
And that definitely translates to his kids not having phones.
Yeah.
I
Well,
see.
it
Maybe
might-
it's because
it
he's
might-
he's so famous and doesn't want people being stalking
It
him.
might be because like everything's so stripped back that like he wants to like he wants to strip back and bring the kids to nature.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it
Go
might-
camping.
Might be something like that.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. He's a father of 3.
Yeah.
And he's England's second best-selling author, after J.K. Rowling.
Well, there's no way he could top Harry Potter. It's amazing.
No. But like that's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
He's only like he's a celebrity chef.
Yeah.
It's not like the author isn't he's not to mention he's dyslexic.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, he's dyslexic. He finished his first book when he was 38.
Wow.
Yeah. His nickname is the Naked Chef, thanks to his, cooking style.
Mm.
But
And the original show that he was on, I'm guessing.
but He worries about the name because he thinks that it makes him sound like he cooks in the nude all the time.
Yeah.
When he only does it every once in a while. For
maybe
his wife.
Maybe at home.
Um,
Out of the public eye.
Yeah, and his restaurant 15 trains disadvantaged youth, and he learnt to cook from his parents' pub.
That's cool.
Yeah, when he was working in the pub, that's when he learned how to cook.
That's an awesome environment. I like to learn how to pub because they're such good plumbers.
Yeah, pubs and... anyway, we're going to move on to...
Yeah, let's go back to the news recap, sorry.
The news.
A police officer has been shot in a Texas campus shooting. A police officer has been shot in a Texas campus shooting. The student shot dead the police officer at the campus police station located at Texas Tech University, briefly forcing the campus into lockdown. Police then apprehended the 19-year-old student and moved the suspect back to campus police station for further questioning. Angelina Jolie and Gwyneth Paltrow have joined the long list of women accusing film producer Harvey Weinstein of sexual assault and misconduct. A rock was thrown at the Australian cricket team bus in India this morning after the match. The rock was powerful enough to smash a window and go flying into the bus. Thankfully, no one was injured. Awesome. It is the second time in 5 weeks, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I like sport.
It is the second time in 5 weeks the Australian cricket team has had this happen when touring overseas after touring Bangladesh last month. Yeah, Jacob, you really like sport.
I love sport.
Just like taking all my inserts.
And do you even sport, winning that.
In AFL trade news, Essendon has found out that they will need to give up more if they want to acquire Jake Stringer, Devon Smith and Adam Saad this trade period. The Bombers are looking at sending Travis Collier to WA club for a more valuable draft pick to use in its other deals. Notorious sports scientist Stephen Dank, who was at the centre of the Essendon Football Club's doping scandal, has been declared bankrupt. Wow. Okay. All right.
That's a bit of a switch, isn't it?
In weather, it's a top of 24 and get low with a low of 9.
Nice.
This is the 10 Express. We broadcast every Wednesday at 10 a.m. live from the brand new media hub at Trobe, Bundoora. You can catch up on an episode of the show at upstart.net.au or follow us on Facebook and Twitter at the 10 Express. If you want to contact us directly or send news, email us at the 10 Express at hotmail.com.
Do you know, actually, Jarrod?
What?
I went to high school with Jake Stringer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I knew him for a fair while. He was a nice guy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we're actually going to go into our second feature story at the moment on ANZAC Day.
Oh,
ANZAC Day.
Exciting.
We'll take a look at a story developed by our tech man Jake on his video on ANZAC Day and our RSLs across Melbourne. Many RSLs remain profitable and some even have had to relocate or permanently close their doors due to lack of business. This is especially shocking due to living in a time where 100 years ago to the day, a battle was fought with our ancestors fighting our enemies, and the true Australian stereotype was born due to our ANZACs. Check it out.
Seems a little excessive, doesn't it? The true World War I saw mud, shell casings and more bloodshed between foes than any battle preceding it. It also saw the birth of the ANZACs. Australian and New Zealander men fighting valiantly and forever cementing the reputation that we, from the land down under, can handle anything. Their sacrifices at Gallipoli would then be mourned once a year on the 25th of April, and often services were held at your local RSL. Some examples include Belgrave in the east, Eltham in the north, Williamstown out west, and Beaumaris in the south. At least, it was. The RSL in your community has now become more of a staple, but the unfortunate truth is that many, like the once booming Beaumaris RSL, have been demolished and often left just like this. Some RSL sites are now comparable to battlefields over in the Western Front 100 years ago. These sights see Australian and New Zealander men fighting to hope these atrocities never be seen on our shores. However, late April this year, the Ivanhoe RSL burst into flames in the early hours of the morning. Luckily, no one was harmed. However, in the 6 months that have passed, little has been done to restore one of Melbourne's oldest and most profitable RSLs. Inside we see immediate dangers cleared, like most roofs gone, but overhanging timbers, loose wires and holey floors remain. This pub saw thousands of members and families eat, drink and socialise here, but now members must find business elsewhere, and often see little desire to travel to another RSL. For a can-do nation, we seem to not be up for this challenge. Typically, Australians are loyal, patriotic and social drinkers, but all too often RSL's owners are having to close early as numbers just are not hitting their targets. RSLs provide a unique insight to hardships during the war, with memorabilia and antiques being on display for the public to see. Some items cannot be found anywhere else in the world. Loyal patrons and youths are still doing their part, but the ways things are going, your RSL may be relocated, or worse, closed down to make way for more commission apartments in your neighbourhood. Let's not let our ANZACs go forgotten, lest we forget.
And we're back to the 10 Express. Joining us in the studio to discuss the packet is Jake Bokove. Jake, how you doing?
How you going, guys?
Jake, my boy, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. Before we get started, can I just say we need a bit more communication with the guys, because I would have brought my lumberjack beard in, but that's fine. We'll
Oh yes,
next show
disappointed,
we'll work on it.
This is a bearded segment
This is-
of the 10 Express.
Well.
We take great pride in our beards, and Jake's just being left out.
So Jake, why don't you tell us a bit about what got you involved in this part of the story?
Well, I was coming home from university and I was reading just the Herald Sun, and I was reading one of my favourite authors, Craig Dibbett, and he was talking about these brothers from Seabrook, how they were fighting in ANZAC Day, not ANZAC Day, they were fighting in Gallipoli, and how it's really devastating, how their mother's been left alone and their family never could be brought up. And it was more so going on how RSLs are closing around Melbourne, and I thought that was pretty crazy, because I live in Williamstown and my RSL just closed down for some more commission apartments, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So I thought I could get into this story a bit more. ANZAC Day is a very important holiday for all of us. I know it's past now, but I feel like we all need to be more a part of it. Yeah, I've got a few, just some facts for you guys.
Hit us with
them. 331,000 Australian New Zealand soldiers went over to World War One. Unfortunately, 70,000 people died. Australian and New Zealanders died. That's roughly the population of 2 times the Trobe University.
Wow.
I know, a bit dark, but yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you think the Agora gets busy?
11,000 of our soldiers went to Gallipoli itself, and we had 8,000 deaths. What the Anzac Day, what the guy thought Anzac Day was really important is, when we landed on a beach that we weren't supposed to be there. It was a sheer cliff, but Australian New Zealanders went there and were like, yeah, we can do this. And, we got the can-do attitude, and we had the feeling we can do anything, and that's kind of cemented around the world. That's why people love Australians. We're hard as, we're give us a beer, we're all good, we'll just take on this challenge. And I just feel like the Anzacs are starting to get forgotten. We're living in a time where every 100 years ago to the day, Australian soldiers were fighting, which is really important.
Yeah, we should remember our history and the people who've helped make the world safe for us and like
Absolutely.
move forward. Definitely.
Absolutely. RSLs are now being taken over by people like only a couple decades older than us, and they're not necessarily veterans from the world wars. They're now coming from, some of them aren't even from Vietnam or Iraq. They're just regular businessmen, and they just want to treat their RSLs more of a pub as opposed to the tradition that it is, which I think is pretty shocking.
Yeah, no, it's pretty tragic. Like Anzac Day is a thing that plays close to my heart because both my grandpas like went off. They did like the war thing, and my dad's dad passed as a result of getting malaria when he was over in World War II.
Yeah.
And my dad was only 7 years of age or something like that. And so it's been a very big tradition in my family that like you wear his medals, you go on like the march or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
You're, like in his spot. And although my other grandpa was lucky enough to come back from the war, like he got trained, deployed, and then was recalled when the World War II ended. He was pretty shaken up as far as like it was a life-changing experience for him.
Can I ask, what did you guys do on 2017 Anzac Day? Like, it was a really cold, rainy day.
I went to the dawn service.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
it's something that like my
same
family
here,
has done since I was, like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So
part of that too.
every
That's
year it's you go to the dawn service, and then if you go to the RSL for like the brekkie that they put on and stuff like that.
Like, I love hearing this. Like, just a lot of people our age like don't do it anymore. I saw this statistic that 42% of people under the age of 25 don't know what Anzac Day is, which
They don't.
no, it's like they don't know what Anzac
If they
means.
do not know what it is, that's a crime.
Oh, it's a
because
like they just
we got taught so much about it like in school and stuff like that, and like you go and you look at the history and like what happened like as a whole is a tragedy. And, like, you go and have a look at, like, the individual stories of, like, Anzacs and stuff like that. And there's so many memorials going around. Like, I know that Colac, my hometown, has a big shrine that's dedicated to everyone who went and fought from Colac in World War I or World War II and there's, like, the surrounding area. And so you can find, like, the names of people that are, like, in there. And they open it up, like, on Anzac Day. And that's, like, that's it.
Yeah.
So, like, that's your chance to, like, get in there, like, lay your flowers and stuff like that. And I often encourage all of my housemates and, like, whoever I'm close to like, come along to dawn services and things. Because it's something that, like, that touches you. Like, it's something...
it's really impactful.
Anzac Day is something otherworldly. You can't describe the feeling that you get from, like, listening to people to express what they, like, felt and stuff like that. And, like, seeing people that are still kicking from like those days or just a bit after those days is really inspiring. Yeah,
it's definitely cool. So I'm not really a big one for Anzac Day.
Okay.
Just because you guys have been talking about how involved you are with it, right? And I've actually never been to a service. I don't have any family who's been into it, and none of my family really were bothered. So I was never brought up to like be involved with it.
Yep.
Like I'm 24, right? And it's like the statistic, people don't know what it is. I know perfectly well what it is, and I can sympathize with people, and like I'm proud that those people went and did what they did. It's just never been a thing in my household that we've done.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, we're living in a different time. Like, back then, the war was seen as like more of a gap year. Nowadays, we now know war is a horrible, devastating thing. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it isn't. But we're going through a time where we're all like opposed to war. But it's just more like just paying your respects to everybody. Like, so many people came back distraught. Like, I know my like we had family members that were prisoners of war, and they came back from the Japan concentration camps, and they couldn't eat any Asian food for the rest of their life. They couldn't eat rice, like any of that. Like, I have rice at least once a day, and we can't, like, in that family, they got brought up, they can't have it. And that was just one story, but there's so many different stories, and I find it so fascinating, and I just think everybody should, like, really understand just how important Anzac Day is. Like, we're considered Australians, like, we're hard as we can do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much for talking about Anzac Day with us, Jake. It's been a pleasure.
Yep.
Moving on to something a bit lighter
let's
while we
move
have
on to a lighter note.
while we have a bit of a mid-camera shot and about 45 seconds for our good boy Jake to change something. What have you been doing lately, Jarrod? Because I know you do cheerleading.
What have I been doing? So at the moment, I'm doing cheerleading for La Trobe University. I'm training about 4 days a week.
Yeah, and your team just came back from uni games, didn't they?
Yeah, my team, I wasn't with them, unfortunately, because, they were very much in the routine once I got back from Europe. But they came back, last week?
Yeah. How'd they
and
place,
we
by the
went
way?
back to training last night.
Yeah.
And they did really well. They came first. And
Awesome.
the second division team, like the 1-2 all girl, came second.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, that's amazing. Good stuff, the Trobe. LTU. Yeah, that one. I don't know the
LTU,
cheer.
LTR,
Anyway, let's bring back Jake, all freshly dressed, to talk about zombies and how to survive
Trobe
zombies.
Live,
The Trobe Live Rapid.
Yes. Zombies are very important.
True.
Of course.
It's going to happen, guys. We've got to get
Everyone's
ready.
theorized about that scenario.
We've all got, we've all had a
Everyone's got
situation.
it in
How
their
long
head,
will
like what they're
survive?
going to do, what the game plan is. But realistically, when it happens, if it breaks out the Melbourne CBD, we're done.
It's important just to just remain calm. That's just the main thing, I suppose.
Remain calm.
Yeah,
So you got a book here today.
I do. This
Show
is
the
actually
camera.
a 21st present.
The 21st.
It's the zombie survival guide. It's got like a little bit of everything in it.
Oh,
It's got what weapons are great, how you can tell a zombie in the crowd. It's fantastic. It's
How
really
do you
got me
tell a
prepared.
zombie in the crowd?
Oh, just the basic symptoms. It takes roughly 24 hours for one to change into a zombie, apparently,
Okay.
like the stereotypical zombie. What else?
What kind of zombies are you like? Because there's Resident Evil
like,
zombies,
what kind of
there's
zombies?
Zombieland, there's
What
Walking
kind of
Dead.
zombies?
Zombieland,
we're
we're dead.
talking here.
Okay, Zombieland zombies, we're all screwed. Like,
Yeah.
that's the professional athlete zombie. We see Usain Bolt, that's a zombified, we're gone. I'm just going to bend over.
I'm just going to
It's time
sit down
time
and
to
wait.
See, my defense, like whenever zombie apocalypse or anything came out when I was in Colac was like, I'm ages away from a populated
Yeah, you're
city.
fine in Colac.
If anyone, if anyone changes, I'm gonna know about it well before they can walk here. It takes like a solid 2 or 3 days to walk from Melbourne to Colac. I'm just like, nah, I'm good, man. Like,
Yeah. I'm from Bendigo.
I can just get in the car and drive the other way. But now that I'm in Melbourne, I'm done. Like,
It's hard, yeah.
I'm
Millions
done.
of people.
Yeah, as you said before, there's 45,000 people that attend this university. One turns, they're gonna bite 3 others, and then we're
Yeah.
done. I just live over the road. I'm screwed.
You just got to hunker down. You got to stay safe.
You gotta hunker down.
Let the chaos die out a bit, then go out. Go into the country.
You haven't seen my house.
Yeah, all right.
I've got no chance of hunkering down.
It's very, very open. Lots of windows, lots of doors. Lots of entry points to cover.
So I live in a 3-story townhouse. So I'm just going to block off the bottom areas and just remain on the top because it's got,
I
it's got
have a
everything.
second floor, but I don't think it's big enough to sustain all 6 of my
Well,
housemates and me.
It's important.
Survival
to
of the fittest.
It's important. Here you go. Just get ready.
take
mate.
the
It's a
book,
good
take
read. You can get ready for it. Okay.
So, what things could you suggest to do in a zombie apocalypse?
Suggest
Mr.
to do.
Expert?
Well, yeah. Remain calm.
Yeah.
Stay hunkered down. Don't get caught up in the chaos, like the initial chaos. If we're thinking just a regular sort of zombie apocalypse like The Walking Dead, my favorite TV show, just they're easy to take on, like zombies, more than once. Zombieland, not so much. But if it's just a regular zombie, just animated, strolling towards you, if it's one, don't even worry about it. Just treat it
move
like
on.
treat it like
Move
a
on.
pest. Treat it like a rat. Just let it go. If there's a group,
You're a bit screwed.
yeah, you gotta
If there's
gotta
a
have a
group,
weapon ready.
Run.
Oh, run.
Run.
Just
Run very fast. Unless you've got confidence in your ability to dispatch
Keep
that
your cardio.
crowd.
Yeah, keep it
Run.
cardio.
Rule number 1, cardio.
You gotta
Yeah, like Zombieland.
the double tap. I love
number
those
18.
rules.
Double
be a
tap.
hero.
Enjoy the little things.
Yeah.
We go-
Exactly.
I wanna
That's
see the
actually more
Hobbits.
important.
Exactly. I
Have,
really
a,
want to see the
have a
entire
getaway
list.
vehicle. Make sure
Yeah, you
that's
gotta
it.
have-
You
yeah.
can have a getaway vehicle.
Seat belts.
Yeah, seatbelts.
What would you do about food, though, if you hunker down? How long do you hunker down before you starve? 2
Well,
weeks?
I think a week. We can survive 2-3 weeks without food, but ideally we want our food and water. But so once that's all gone, get as much supplies as you can and just head out into the country. Colac. Start your own little
Colac.
farm up going. I know not many people know their
Or
farms. Or
my brainwave was always if you could get a cruise ship.
True.
I thought of that.
You've just got to you've just got to get it out far enough down the coast that no one can climb on board to it.
I just
Yeah.
don't think there's anything on here about boating licenses. and stuff like
Do you need a
that.
boating license in the apocalypse, though?
So if you get a
think
cruise ship
I'd
and you
rather
just
that.
park it just off Port Melbourne,
Mm.
you could probably just
Just,
yeah,
just
just
in the
off
port.
Port Melbourne.
There's no waves or anything.
Yeah,
That's
there's
all
no
right.
waves or anything, and the ships, the way they're built, you can't physically climb up one, so zombies can't get on it.
Well, there you go. 10 Express hot tip.
Yeah.
Steal a cruise ship.
Steal a
Let's
cruise
do it.
ship. They've got a pantry, a fridge, and they've got liquid. What
Liquid.
more can you ask for?
Awesome. How about we get on to a bit of a pet peeve thing? Since my pet peeve is not being able to steal a boat during the apocalypse. Let's go a bit of a thing. I'm going to ask you guys some things, and you're going to tell me if you've done it or if it annoys you.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to start with Jarrod, and then you're going to answer the same question, Jake, and we're just going to keep going.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, drivers who don't use a turn signal.
Oh, it annoys me. It annoys me so much.
Really? What about you?
It's not okay. It's the most lazy thing you can do as a driver. That's it.
It's not hard, is it? It's literally 1 second.
It's just not safe. It's just move on.
Move on.
I'm not one for road rage, but that destroys me.
How about people who drink directly out of the orange juice or milk container or whatever?
No, I do that.
I do that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like because I live with my housemates, it'll be my orange juice or milk.
What if it was like a family juice?
That's what I do. It's good.
It's good stuff. I love juice.
I have done it in the past, but I probably wouldn't do it now. Because I can just have my own bottle of orange juice.
I want to one up you guys. I love custard so much that I drink out of the custard container.
Yeah, no, I used to put custard in a bowl and then.
Yeah, you just do that. All right, how about couples who sit on the same side of the booth when there's no one on the other side?
Yeah, no, that annoys me.
It's just, it doesn't really bother me, but it's just strange.
I've done it.
No, it's like
you do it.
I've done it.
It makes me think that like they're waiting for another person.
Yeah, it does look like it's
the
empty,
next
doesn't
time
it?
I see a couple doing that. I'm gonna
sit down.
I'm gonna go sit down next to them and be like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Yeah, no, I'm just gonna order.
You guys already ordered? Yeah.
You guys already ordered? Yeah, cool, no worries.
What about people who don't use coasters?
Now, see, there's an exception. Like, if you're at a pub and the coaster's provided, yeah, cool, no worries. But yet again, if like you're at home and it's just like a shitty old table, who cares?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's
I
a
know.
table. We're meant to put stuff on it.
there's exceptions.
How about when people take heaps of napkins, like 20 or so when they're at Macca's or just eating some dim sims from the fish and chip shop, go to Lilo Plaza, my work, and they use one and throw the rest away.
It annoys me when I'm at work because it means that I've got to refill those napkins.
Yeah.
But when I'm not at work, I couldn't care. Like, you take as many napkins as you want, mate. It's not my job. Not gonna worry about it.
I do it all the time. I
so
put it in because like,
wasteful.
oh crap, I do that.
That's so wasteful, man.
Jake's current list. Yeah, did it.
How about going through the drive-through, then having to go back through it if they screw your order up? Does that annoy you? Or have
Why do you don't go back through the drive-thru? You get out of your car and you go in the shop.
Yeah, I don't like people. I'm working at KFC for 5 years. I don't like people that did that.
You don't go back. Why do you go back through the drive-thru?
to cause an inconvenience?
Nah.
Obviously, to send a message.
No, I've never done that. I've always gone through the drive-thru and then like I check it when they give it to me. So then like I can tell them straight away. But then sometimes I forget to check it when they give it to me and I just take it. Like, oh, I didn't check it, so it's my fault. I'll just eat whatever they gave me. You know?
One time, actually, when I was a kid, my mum went to Macca's in Bendigo, where I'm from, and they gave her the entirely wrong order. And then she drove around and sat in the driveway for half an hour until they gave her the right order. And the police were called.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's actually quite a common thing.
Yeah, I hope a lot of people do it, and I was
It
really
happens
happy.
quite a bit. Yeah, they just chill there.
Maybe I have good drive-thru etiquette.
Maybe you do.
Oh yeah.
How about people that snoop?
What do you mean by stupid?
A bit of like a social, like Facebook. Let's have a little look through their
Yeah,
profile.
if I'm on my phone,
Oh
and someone
hell
looks over my
no!
shoulder,
When you
that's
like
not okay.
when you like a girl or something like that, you gotta stalk. That's
You're creepy, dude.
no, that's a thing. Like you
Just
get
gotta,
on there, like you just check out like the first 3, pictures of their Insta, and then you have like a quick look at their Facebook. You gotta suss out what you're going for.
My
Yeah,
You
true.
gotta
Instagram's
get some
mostly just
background
birdies.
information.
True. What are you, Jake?
No, it's not okay.
Not okay?
Like,
You don't want people snooping on you?
Not that I have anything on my phone anyway. I haven't even got a passcode on my phone. I use.
Good to know.
I've got Ice Cube on my phone. I use it as intimidation.
Oh my God.
I mean,
That's why.
Ice Cube.
I'm not gonna go through Jake's phone if that's what you mean by snooping, but
Why not? It could have some more Ice Cube photos on it.
no,
Ice Cube's pretty great.
phones and computers are private. You like if
I agree.
someone gives you
Yeah.
permission to use it, you use it for what they gave you permission to use it for.
I agree.
Yeah.
How about couples that own a dog or a cat together and call themselves mum and dad?
I actually have friends that do this.
Is it
Yeah,
me?
my brother does it. Yeah.
No, but, like you're probably.
You do it with your
Yeah.
cats.
Yeah,
I have a
like
cat.
I have friends from Cheer who do this, and they now live in Essendon in a house together, and it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, guys, you can stop now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm like that with Bella.
you can just chill out. You can just stop now. Okay,
Just
You can
maybe
stop.
for next show, like I am hideously allergic to cats, so maybe some just added comedy. Bring in your cat.
I will. She's adorable. She goes on a lead. She goes for a walk, and it's great.
It takes me one
Easy.
pat, and I turn into Robert De Niro when he's laughing.
What's the next one, Jake?
So, how about people who ride their bikes on the road when the sidewalk is right there and open?
No,
Can't stand
because
it.
there's a bike lane.
There is a bike lane.
There's a bike lane for a reason. If there's no bike lane, then I can understand why you would ride on the footpath.
Isn't it
like,
sometimes illegal
they-
to ride on the road though? I mean, riding the footpath.
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly. Sometimes it's illegal. And it's just a ground rule that you're not meant to do it.
You just hate it anyway.
Okay, bikers.
There's a
Get
bike
on the
lane.
footpath.
No, there's a bike lane. It's there for a reason. They've established
If there's
it.
one bike on a bike lane, that's fine. But normally bikers are in packs, so there's groups of them, so they take up at least one lane of the damn road.
Yeah, see,
anyway.
that's the thing. Like a lot of people, like this way in like Melbourne and like Geelong area, they use it. They use like biking as like exercise and stuff like that.
Do it at the gym.
And they do it in
Nobody likes you on
and
the
they
road.
do it in packs. Whereas like in Colac, you ride a bike because you need to get somewhere.
Yeah, that was me and Bendigo too. I used to ride my bike about 3K to my friend's house every now and again. It was like 3 in the morning. He'd be like, "Hey, dude, come over and let's watch The Nanny." So I'm like, "All right, cool. Be there in 5 minutes." I'd ride over.
Nanny.
I love The Nanny, man.
No one likes your Sunday morning sweaty latex bike. Like, it's okay.
Not
Get off.
washing hands after using the bathroom. Is that the next one?
That is the next one, Jared.
That's the
Thank you
next
for
one.
stealing my thunder.
That's okay.
Jake, what would you do? Last question. What will you do, Jake? Do you
If
do
I
it
see
or
that,
do you hate it?
I have done it a few times. Like, I don't think it's that big a deal. I think it's just common courtesy. We got taught that like when we were very young. If you had parents that
No,
cared.
you got
You gotta do it.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
But no, sorry. Last question here, because I scrolled through further
One more.
down the list,
One
and I
more.
found one that like really annoys me,
Alright,
and that's
tell me.
dirty dishes in the sink. Because my housemates and myself, we're like chronic users of this.
I chuck this one
There's
for you,
always like
actually.
like you just chuck something in the sink, you're like I'll get back to it, and then by the time you get back, there's like 30 dishes in the sink, and no one wants to wash them because no one knows.
Can't you just do it at the end of the day?
Huh?
You just like one big wash, save the planet.
Yeah,
Like-
but like. No one see the thing is no one wants to do it in my house because they're like, no, that's not even my dish.
Does
man."
anyone
Like,
wanna do
I
it
wanna
ever?
wash it, and I'm like, duh.
Oh man,
Sorry, struck a nerve. Sorry about that.
let's stop that before you explode due to anger.
Yeah, that struck a nerve. It's all right.
Oh,
We're gonna move on to our next segment, which is Do You Even Sport? My favorite time
I'm excited.
of the 10 Express. And it's where the members of the 10 Express team tackle the most fearsome, bravest of the bravest, and challenging of the challenges challenge is. Check it out.
Hi everyone, I'm Jacob Joybury and welcome to a special edition of Do You Even Sport. Today we are going to go a bit behind the scenes style and see what actually goes on behind the scenes. Jarrod, would you please let us into the media hub? Let's go.
Okay guys, it's week 11. What are we going to be doing for Do You Even Sport? Well,
For competitive shaving, and you can call it the Sweeney Todd episode.
Who are you?
Who am I? Me.
I've never seen you before.
I have many names. Some think I'm a Zen master. Others think I'm a Vox Popper. Right now, I'm the Vision Switcher. At the Eagle Report, watch it now!
Go away. Go,
Alright.
get out of here.
I-
No one wants you
competitive-
here.
so we're not doing his idea.
No, it doesn't count.
So let's see, what have we done? We've done,
What, what are you doing?
well, you know, I think we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I mean, we've done wife carrying, egg throwing, the floor is lava. Like, I really think it's every novelty sport that we could think of. We've exhausted every option.
No, I've got so many ideas, right? I've got heaps of ideas. This is nowhere near exhausted. I have so
Right?
many.
He's got no ideas.
Hundreds.
Hundreds of ideas?
Hundreds of ideas.
Competitive eating.
So you just want to rip your esophagus, or
No, I'm just really hungry.
you're just really hungry? Okay, no.
So, Jacob, I'm thinking clown rodeo for our last episode.
Are you like the intern or something? Who are you?
I'm Tiff. I'm the presenter.
Oh, Tiff. Right, nah.
So I'm Georgie, as hopefully all of our loyal viewers would know. For Do You Even Sport, my role really differs. I mean, last week I played Jacob as athlete. Sometimes I'm behind the camera and can't get the rule of thirds correct. Sometimes I'm on sound and can't get the levels right. I'm just a really valuable addition to the team.
Hi, I'm Jacob Joyberry, as you would know from the countless introductions I've done.
Hello, my name is Jacob Joyberry. Jacob Joyberry. My name is Jacob Joyberry. Jacob Joyberry.
I am Jacob Joyberry.
And welcome to Do You Even Sport?
I am basically everything to do with Do You Even Sport. I come up with every idea. I script every idea.
You didn't come up with the name.
This is my interview.
I came up with the name.
This is my interview!
Whatever.
Oh my god.
I suppose I film some of the Do You Even Sport packages. I turn up most every week, so, you know, I've got that going for me.
Hi guys, I'm Jarrod. I do You Even Sport with Jacob. It's pretty cool.
It's been a standing 2 o'clock meeting on a Thursday since week 4. Oh no, week 3 before we actually started filming. Every week, 2 o'clock, be there. What time does he get here every week? 2:30, 2:45. Whenever he wakes up, whenever he feels like it, he just gets here. I hate tardiness.
See, he's very selfish in the fact that he wants more screen time, so he's trying to kick me off the host desk next week. And I'm not going to take any of it, to be honest with you. The only reason why I let him was because I was running out of outfit choices.
Who's Tiff?
Oh, Tiff's beautiful. I love Tiff. She's fantastic.
Are you sure?
Am I sure? Did you see us Do You Even Sport last week?
To the camera, please.
Sorry. I'm new at this.
George is pretty cool. She gets on Jacob's nerves a bit. Bit of a control freak here and there, but yeah, she's a good egg.
She thinks she came up with the name. She constantly says it, like you heard before. Like, no one came up with the name. It just happened. Do You Even Sport just happened. It was a miracle of creation. It was just, God came from above, brought down the name onto me, and was like, Jacob, you're going to do this thing and it'll be great. Georgie did no clue. Nothing. Doesn't do anything at all.
Oh, Jarrod. Yeah. Well, my issue with him is tardiness as well. That really annoys me. His good qualities. He's a good wife carrier. I'll give him that. He does a good wife carry. And I like his Superman compression wear. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it? I've got many good qualities. I have many good
Stop
qualities.
looking down the barrel of the camera. You don't always need to address the camera. Sometimes you need to address who you're speaking to.
I have really good qualities. So mean. What do you mean I don't have any good
big babies.
And that was a special behind-the-scenes episode of Do You Even Sport. Thank you for joining us all. We've got Tiff, Jacob, Georgie, and Jarrod.
Yeah.
We're all happy to have you here.
I'll grow up and look at the camera. Jeez.
Oh my god.
What's his favourite thing?
Looking at himself in the camera, yeah.
And you've ruined it. Georgie,
Sorry.
maybe you are a little bit controlling after all.
Maybe.
Hi and welcome back to the 10 Express. I'm Jacob Joyberry, Jacob Joyberry, Jacob Joyberry, Jacob Joyberry. I am Jacob Joyberry, Jacob Joyberry. And welcome to the 10 Express.
God. Oh, man. How are you feeling? You seem a bit more happy than you were the other
I'm
day.
a lot more happy after watching that. That was great.
Just go to a bunch of therapy and just work out Georgie being so mean to you.
Yeah, I worked it out. I've become more of a man thanks to that challenge. And now I don't take any of Georgie's backlash and control freakness. Which is what I feel like you should do, Jacob.
I'm still struggling with that internally. It's a lot of like light and dark struggle. Like I love Georgie, she's amazing, but at the same time, I like to be able to go to the toilet when I want to go to the toilet. You know?
Yeah, exactly. She's just got too much of a schedule.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it?
But now that comes to our end of our show.
It's been a good one.
Yeah, it's been a good one. I've had my new host, my new buddy. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, thanks for joining us at the 10 Express. Come back next week for another segment of Do You Even Sport and Pet Peeves. And we'll see you then. Or they could not pay the outro. Anyway, catch ya. Outro.